Media Huntington. Tonight's episode is our special endorsement video for the Huntington Town Elections of 2017. That vote will be held on November 7th, this upcoming Tuesday, is our special endorsement video for the Huntington Town Elections of 2017. Wow, isn't that always fun when that comes on like that?
Yes.
I forget to mute that out, so because I'm on the control panel too. Well, at least we went ahead and got the technical difficulty over with early on in the episode. So I'm going to go ahead and start over real quick. Good evening and welcome to Be the Media. Tonight's episode is our special endorsement video for the Huntington Town 2017 elections, which will be held this upcoming Tuesday, November 7th. I am Jenny Lee, and tonight I am here with Dana.
Hi, guys.
And Lisa.
Hi, everyone.
And Miss Lori had a previous obligation, but she did leave a video endorsement that we'll be playing for you later. So, ladies, how was your week?
It's always interesting when it comes to politics. That's all I can say. A lot of interesting mailers going out. And for the first time, I received like flyers from everyone, which was interesting because, you know, my house is divided. We have Republicans, Democrats, and Independents. So it was interesting. I'll say that part.
I agree. I got a lot of ugly mailers this week, but there's one mailer that I didn't get, and that's from the man running for my district, the 17th district. I never got a mailing, anything from Michael Troetti.
Yeah, and that's interesting you said that.
I don't even know what that looks like.
I saw someone on the Northern State Parkway putting up his sign, and I was like, who the heck is this guy? Exactly. I never heard of him.
That's our paper candidate.
Ah.
Well, just like that's just like the guy that he's replacing.
Well, they're there to steal votes. And when we will be coming to everyone live on Tuesday with the returns as they come in. And it'll be interesting to see how many people voted for somebody just because they were on the party line and not because they knew what they stood for or for any other reason except that they were towing a party line. I would never recommend voting a full party line, especially with cross endorsements being so rampant in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree.
Good advice.
I would definitely agree with you on that.
So since this is our endorsement video, shall we go to the ballot, ladies?
Yeah.
So the first category that we have on making Huntington a better place for all of us again, we need our own motto, I think. The Justice of the Supreme Court. Now, under the Justice of the Supreme Court, you're allowed to vote for any four. And it's interesting to me because I think that this is probably one of the most important positions that we should be voting for, judges, court judges. And what we mostly see that come up on these ballots are people who have performed political favors, if you will, and now their time has come to get their due diligence. So I do see like here. So these are the four we have. All right, and I've lined them into lines. But if you look at the bottom, you'll see Stuart Besson and Phil Boyle. Now, I find that very interesting because Phil Boyle was one of the ones that was primarying on the line for sheriff. You remember
what happened?
The episode that we did with that?
Yeah, I remember that.
So, I mean, if you really wanted to be a judge and to begin with, no. So this was, hey, if you did us a favor and did something over here on this line, remember that email we saw from Steve Levy saying, well, we'll just put an attorney there. And
yes,
that's how they pay back people. And in fact, if you go to the Huntington View Facebook page, that email is under our photos. And you can read that one from Steve Levy, who still hasn't explained what happened to his how many $1 million war chest that disappeared?
I don't know.
It was millions. It was millions. So I don't know who to pick on this line. Does anybody have anybody that they were thinking? I see a lot of names repeating. You could go Dems, you could go Republicans. My whole thing, I've always said, I always think judges should be conservative, even though I'm not. But when it comes to law, I think that I would always support a conservative judge. But then I look at something like this, right? And on the conservative line, which is row C, do you see this William Robellini? Well, he's really a Democrat. So when you have a Democrat being endorsed by the Conservative Party, this is where we need to be awake and aware and really looking at our ballots closely, because things like that don't make sense to me. So automatically, I think this for me is going to be a process of elimination where I'm going to have to sit down, and anybody who's cross-endorsed by and kind of come or just not vote on this line at all. How do you ladies feel about who you're voting for Supreme Court 10th Judicial District judges? I mean, we're getting 4 new judges. They only need about 10 to 13% of the vote to win.
The last several years, voting when it comes to Supreme Court judge, I mean, I know it's my personality and whatever, and, you know, I've been a victim of them, long story short, but I have written in Satan.
You written in who?
Satan.
Who? You mean like
she writes
like the devil?
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh God.
Satan, I guess so. You're saying Satan would be better than the choices that you're giving me.
You know what? Look, think about it, Jenny. I know I wasn't trying to be funny. I've just done that because, you know, I was just being a smartass, because there really is no other option there. There really isn't. Look how they are put on the ballot.
Well, that brings me
to we have so many incompetent judges to do what they do. Look at Stu Besson.
I can't even believe he's on this ballot. That's a political favor if I've ever seen one.
This is a man who's going to be ruling on families and the best interests of children.
He's on the independent.
He's incapable of doing that.
He's a Democrat, and he's on the independence line. And he's not on the Democratic line also. Thomas Feinman is. So the Democrats were endorsing Thomas Feinman, even though they're whipping boy, basically. Stu Besson does a lot of the work for them. So, and he's on the independence line. So it's not like he was endorsed by the Democrats. Is he there to take away votes from, you know, that's what they do. That is what they do. Maybe they put him there with no intention of winning, just to steal votes.
Right. And then you got the Whalens. That's another nepotism party right there. It's just
let me cross them off then.
The whole family of lawyers moving up to judgeships. That's all that is.
All right, so we'll have to start crossing them off one by one. All right, so the next one we have the county court judge. County court judge. So you can only vote for one person, okay? So the Democrats are putting forward David Morris. The Republicans are putting forward David Morris. The Conservatives are putting forward David Morris. The Green Party is putting forth David A. Morris. The Working Families, David Morris. The Independent Party, David Morris. The Women's Equality Line, David Morris. And the Reform Party line, David Morris.
Sounds like Tom Spoda.
We have so many David Morrises running for the county court judge.
I wonder which one we should choose.
Do you think they're all related? It's weird. So my vote this year is going to go to, this is bullshit, because it is. Oh. And I hope somebody at the Board of Elections actually has to log that into their system, because I think sometimes we don't have to vote for who's on the ballot. Sometimes if you want to stay within your own integrity, it's okay to send a message. And to me, that you just took away my right to vote.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, if you're not giving me any options, except for if I can put either David Morris or David A. Morris, I don't really understand how that's any option. But you know.
And you know, judges, that's such an important overlooked. All right, so let's move on to family court judge.
And unless somebody's in court, Jenny, they just don't give a crap.
So who are you voting for county court judge, ladies?
Satan.
There we go.
I'm not. I still have to review the judges.
Satan. Right in Satan.
Well, you're going to review David Morris. Oh,
yeah.
Cool. I'm voting for this. Middle name is bullshit. Family court judge is our next one. So the Dems are putting forth Teresa Whalen. The Republicans are putting forth Stephen Weisbard. The Conservatives, who always lean Democrat, are putting forth Teresa Whalen also. The Green Party, Teresa Whalen. The Working Families Party, Teresa Whalen. The Independence Party, Teresa Whalen. The Women's Equality, of course, they endorsed the woman, Teresa Whalen. And the Reform Party, which we saw how easy to get this year, Teresa Whalen. So I'm not sure if I'm going to vote for Miss Bullshit again or Stephen Weisband, since he's the only one that doesn't have the cross endorsement of all the other parties.
So Mr. Bullshit.
I'm kind of torn. I'll have to see if he's cross-referenced with any of the other judges that we can't vote for.
This is crazy.
All right. Do you see it? That's why I wanted to start left to right for you guys to see, we're halfway through the ballot now with the people who decide the law. It ends here. Let me straighten that out again. It ends here. This is where we are. Okay, I just circled him. This is where we're going to bring in Lori. And I've got 3 more to go. And most of these, I can't vote for half the positions here on the ballot. That's alarming.
Yeah, it is.
It should be.
Okay. District Attorney. I'm going to go through the list of names, and I think we can actually all make an informed decision here.
We finally have a choice. After how many years has it been?
We kind of have. That's a really good point.
How many years has it been? We are free. We have a choice. Unbelievable.
Here's the irony of all this.
You're not in Cuba anymore, folks.
You're talking about Spoda, and he was cross-endorsed on every party line, okay? So they hired, do you see who it is? They hired Stu Besson. Stu Besson, they hired him to, when they said, okay, you're right, term limits are, the term limit thing is awful. We're going to take it to court. And we're going to fight it in court. They hired Stu Besson to fight term limits for them, and they lost. Now, do you think that they lost because they didn't have a good case? Or do you think somebody wanted to get on the ballot eventually and get their, I don't know, comeuppance?
Yeah, the favors he must have performed.
I can't even do any visuals with that right now.
I don't want to go there.
Lordy.
Got a good set of knee pads.
District Attorney, I can't even. Okay, so we do know no, that was for sure. Okay, so District Attorney, let's go through it. The Democrats are putting forth Timothy Sinney. The Republicans are putting forth Raymond Perini. The Conservatives are putting forth Timothy Sinney. The Working Family Parties are putting forth Timothy Sinney. The Independence Party is putting forth Timothy Sinney. The Reform Party line is putting forth Ray Perini. And who's that? Oh, the End Corruption line. What's actually on the ballot? Christopher Garvey is running for that position.
Oh, Lord,
I don't know who that is.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
That's the first time I'm hearing his name.
Well, I'm totally voting for Raymond Perini. I think we were all over that with the Reform Party line, and that's when Phil Boyle was talking about. No, that was on the sheriff line. I keep bouncing ahead with that. Yeah, I'm voting for Ray Perini. That's definitely the one. I met him a few years ago when he was first up against Spada before he was indicted this week. Which was in itself, like, we have to talk about that later. I'll write that down. Oh my God.
Definitely get a conversation about that.
Oh, if we got to come back, we'll circle back and talk about the whole Spada ordeal this week. So how about you, Dana? Who are you going for, Sinney or Perini? I know Sinney has single-handedly taken down MS-13, eradicated them all on.
Hold on.
I'm going with Cini, only because I feel as though he's made an effort. I have never had any interaction with the other gentleman. Perini is his name.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I know I receive very little information on him, and Cini I've met before face to face. I have had a conversation with him. I mean, it's to me, it's either one or the other. You know what I mean? So I have to make a choice, and I know more about Cini, and I know some of the things he's done, so he would get my vote for that reason.
Which, since you're a Republican, and Ray Perini is on the Republican line, what line will you vote for him on? On the Independence line?
More than likely, yeah. I would. I think I wouldn't have a choice because I would not vote. I won't vote for any Republican this go around. No, I'm not. Let me not say that. No, let me take that back. There is one. But yeah, most likely will be on the Independence line that I would vote for Cini. He's who I chose. I don't have anything great to say about it, but I gotta pick one or the other.
Okay, I'm with you. I have met Perini though, so I would just say, in order for you to send a message to your party, you may want to consider choosing your candidate on an alternative party line, because they look at these numbers. They truly do. And I have to apologize. I love my guy Spada, and I keep interchanging the names because I've got Spada on the brain. I mean, he's my guy. Like, if I had anyone I'm saying, I can't wait to get to him. Like, so every time the name comes up, they're just so close, and I hope that that's not affecting him in any way, because that would be wrong if we let this indicted man, his name somehow interfere with a really honorable guy who deserves to get elected. So, all right, District Attorney Lisa, are you a Perini or a Cini?
I am a Perini because Cini has seen too much, and I just think he should have done more. But I've met Ray Perini, and I've had interactions with him, and I've never had any interactions with Cini, whatever you call him. There will be a rally tomorrow at the federal court in Central Islip for Perini. I think it's from 1 to 2 or 2 to 3. It's on his Facebook page. Should be interesting. I'm going to check it out.
Okay, Sheriff. That's the one I kept wanting to get to. My brain was rushing to, because during the primary, one of the guys that's on the line to be a Supreme Court judge, Stuart Besson, was also primary, and so was the other one, Phil Boyle. So when you know the backstories here, it's important to know that these two now have to be crossed off your list under judges if you're also doing the bingo process of elimination like I am.
Right.
Sheriff, under the Democrats, we have Errol Toulon.
Who?
That's the guy you've been saying who for the last 2 weeks. Every time I bring up his flyer, he's the guy with I got flyers everywhere now.
Wait, I think I have one here.
Oh my God, I have so many flyers.
Where'd it go?
Yeah, nobody knows who this guy is. Again, probably another paper candidate. He's the guy with all the uniforms. Oh, this one. Remember him, Dana?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
He's riot gear. It's in his riot gear. That's Toulon. We haven't heard much from him. We haven't heard much from any of them, really, for the sheriff, except during the primary, that's for sure. Okay, the Republicans are putting forth Lawrence Zacharias. The Conservatives, who again always seem to lean Democrat in the elections, because Conservatives are always to the far left of Democrats, Errol Toulon. They're endorsing this guy, the Conservative Party. Then you have the Independence Party, who's also endorsing Errol Toulon.
Well, has he been to any of the Meet the Candidate nights?
I don't think so.
Because I didn't see him at any of them.
No, all I've seen is flyers of him wearing the same 3 uniforms.
And here is the only time I've heard his name anywhere.
Even Dana's like, who? The last three, 4 episodes. Who is that? Who is that? What position?
Wait a minute. And when you said his name again, I was getting ready to say.
Don't give a who.
I was like, who is that now?
And then on the reform line is Lawrence Zacharias. And on the end corruption, Peter Krause. Heard nothing from that one either.
Who?
Peter Krause.
He's running for a sheriff?
It's the end corruption line. It's not.
Oh, end corruption line.
It's a very small line. I'm definitely voting for Lawrence Zacharias, and I'm going to vote for him on the reform line this time. That's the line I'm going to. I'm going reform because they need to reform this. This is ridiculous. How about you, Dana?
I'm undecided. I really don't have enough information for the sheriff, and I think along with judges, we need to be informed when it comes to those positions as well, because ultimately, we're expecting them to uphold and oversee all the other officers. So I have to do a little more research.
So out of this much of the ballot, most people who are like yourself are completely unaware of who to vote for except for this. Would you say that's a correct assessment?
I'd say that, yes.
I would agree.
All right.
My bid is for, I'd like to vote on the reform line as well for Zacharias, and only because really I met him and talked to him. And a lot of the people I know, especially Curtis Lewa, kind of endorsed him on the reform line. But that's really all I know about him. That's all I've ever heard.
So this is really embarrassing because the next one is our favorite guy, county legislator position. But this ballot is for the 13th district for the Trotta mayor. How did I get this one? Oh, well, we know who's on the 18th. That's really weird. 13th supervisor. Everything else is correct. But that's weird.
Yeah.
But I don't live over there. Otherwise, I'd vote for Rob Trotta. He's a nice guy. I like him. Did you see his new live videos today?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Really good. Did you see the board he had? It looked like a crime scene board where the police put up all the bad guys and try to, put the puzzle.
You have to circle back. He's telling you about exactly what we talk about here, all the corruption and stuff. And he said I think he did. It was a 20-minute live video, so that he could maintain the attention span of
the men.
Yeah, he's the inbox. Like they took our advice and kept it at 20 minutes for the males.
They're very low attention span at times.
Lisa, you're still there. I lost you and Dana.
Hi. What happened?
Uh-oh. Wow. The suspense is too much.
Uh-oh. Which one did it? Susan Berlin did it.
I don't know what happened.
It must be Susan Berlin.
Something happened. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Now we have Doc Spencer and Dom Spada is probably our favorite race that we've been watching. We have the 16th Legislative District. That's Susan Berland and Hector Gavilia. And the 17th Legislative District, which I'm not in. Lisa, that's yours.
That's mine.
Who is that one?
The two ghosts. Michael Perini. No. What did I say that for? Michael. Oh my God. Michael Troetti. And where is this? And some other guy named Tom Connolly.
Okay.
Tom Donnelly. Good Lord. Yes, him. I've heard good things about Tom Donnelly, which makes me really lean toward him the most, probably on election day. Only because I've never heard anything, good or bad, about this Michael guy. I've never seen him. But I know people who are sharing some tidbits with me about Tom Donnelly, and they're all positive. So for that reason, I'll probably sway towards him. But I don't. That's the only reason I have. So
That's good. I mean, you don't have to be detailed. That's your reasoning.
gotta pick
That's
one,
fine.
right?
Yeah,
Gotta pick one.
that's fine.
How about you? You're the 18th with me.
Who did you go with?
Dom Spada.
No, I don't think Spada is in mine. I think I have Berlin and Gavia, don't I?
Oh, you're Berlin and okay. I'm voting for Dom Spada. Doc Spencer. I don't know if you guys saw my video this last week. I didn't expect it to get the kind of legs that it did, but it did. I don't regret saying anything I did.
As long as it's the truth, you shouldn't.
I wasn't expecting, I don't ever want anyone to pity me. And when I had gotten to, because yes, these things happen to me, and yes, I was victimized, but I don't ever want to be viewed as a victim. I fight back. When if you try to victimize me or hurt me, I'm going to scream about it. I'm not going to keep my mouth shut. That's not the kind of person I've ever been. So it did become personal for me when I found out that he had voted no to investigate the people who were indicted this last week. Not one, but two people, including the guy who's in charge of political corruption. And a lot of it has to do with just protecting the party. But aside of that, before that, he's been hurting my wallet for a really long time in regards to the taxes and everything else. And every one of these flyers, he's wearing these, no offense to doctors, I have a lot of respect for doctors, but choose your hat in the situation where it belongs. And it's just like, okay, you're an ENT, you're a doctor, the kids. What does that have to do with how you vote on my taxes? It has nothing to do with how you vote on my taxes. You raise the death tax. The red light cameras are insane. A $25 ticket can cost you over on the mortgage. Well, we took out a home equity. I had to pay the county $700 just for being the county. I mean, there's so many fees and then they say, well, we've held the line on taxes. So he's had enough time to figure it out. I've got DNA signs in my neighborhood that are basically advertisements that, you know what the DNA thing is? When you go around, you mark everything in your house, and if it's stolen, maybe if it's recovered. We don't even have statistics on if this program has ever worked. I've got Shot Spotter over here, and all these things lower our property values. No joke, especially if I'm living here and I see as a boot on the ground, it's not as bad as these signs make it out to be. You hurt us when you do these things. You do. So I'm Spada all the way. I'm ready to give him somebody new a chance, because this guy already has a track record, and I'm all about switching it up. And I'm going to vote for him on the independence line, because I like to move my lines around to send a message to certain people.
Well, I wish I could vote for him, because when he gets in, it's going to affect all of us.
My husband will be voting for him for you, and I have a lot of friends over here who will be too. This is Spotahhood. That's all I've seen all over.
I still got my pin. Hey, Dom, right here. You see it?
So, all right, so we're going to take a break before the superintendent of
Wait a minute. I didn't give you my
I thought you did. Okay, right after you, we're going to switch to Lori's video and come right back, only because I got it set up. So sorry, Dina. Please forgive me.
I like Dom. I really wish I could vote for him. He has definitely grown on me. He's become one of my favorite people. Forget candidates. So I really wish him well, and I hope that people come out for him, because he seems like he wants to do the right thing. And, he seems like his heart is in the right place. When it comes to our candidates, Hector Gavilia and Susan Berlin, I'm not a fan of Susan Berlin, so I definitely wouldn't be voting for her. But Hector Gavilia has also rubbed me the wrong way. I can't. When you engage in a smearing attack, it takes away from whatever you're trying to tell me. We were on a Facebook post, and I asked him about something, And his response was the Democrats, but that's not what I asked you. I asked you, how could you lower taxes? How would you, I think I said, if you lower taxes, something else has to be done. So how would you balance it out? And he was like, well, let me tell you how the Democrats, but that's not what I asked you. And then it's a whole video going around now of when Susan used the word retard. And that's a big thing. And I've noticed that Hector has posted that everywhere. I mean, that to me is just overkill. But what annoys me even more is that people have gone out and said, oh, well, she used the word retarded. That's not a big deal. It is a big deal. She's a politician. It is her responsibility of all people to be politically correct. So I've really had enough of that campaign altogether with both of them. But if I have to choose, I would have to go with Hector, only because I've seen what Susan has done. I've seen how she has interacted with the public. I've watched her go off on a tangent. I've been in meetings with her when she huffs and puffs, and she's very, very disrespectful. Mm-hmm. It's almost as if she's the guarantee a spot. And what I really didn't like was when I watched the video again, even though I had seen the video when she made the comments, I saw her husband go. Now, let's be honest. Have you ever seen Dom's wife do anything like that? Have you ever seen Tracy's husband do anything like that? Spencer's wife? That's just something that gives me an insight of what you are and how you are as a person, because you're a family. So that really rubbed me the wrong way. And then I asked, did she ever apologize to the gentleman? And I was told no.
No.
Again, I would not want someone like that making decisions for me. So I would have to go with Hector, not because I'm all pro Hector and I think he's great. No, I have to choose. I will choose him.
You're that anti-Berland.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I have to agree with you. I mean, every experience I've had with her, there's a sense of entitlement. Like, this is her. And she is very angry, and she's just.
Well, you know why Sandy can do that now? Sandy's a judge.
That husband, Dana, did you see all that?
I did see that. It's alarming. It's really alarming how the Berlins were allowed to do a lot of things, even with the other candidate, and they forced him to leave. I just don't understand why no one else has ever had the guts to stand up to them. So what, they're lawyers? You get enough people behind you, you get yourself a good lawyer, stand up to them. You know, intimidation. You can't intimidate people. And that's basically what he did.
You remember the last election cycle when they sent a legal letter from Sandy Berland to the Huntington Matters Facebook page, demanding that they that they remove certain people and take down negative comments about their wife. They sent a letter to intimidate them.
But then I fault that for the people of the Huntington Matters, because if you don't have competent people, I don't feel sorry for you. If she is running for office, they can say whatever they want to say. 100%. You cannot tell me to take something down because you feel. And so what? You sent me something that has Sandy Berland as a lawyer behind it. What does that mean to me? You know, again, I can't feel sorry for people that are incompetent. Sorry, that's just not going to work. So
I don't think it was necessarily that they sent the letter and Huntington Matters complied, because I don't think they ended up complying. I think it was an issue that, you know, the fact that they sent it at all.
Yeah, like, how dare you? How dare you?
Yeah.
So now you're going to put your wife in office by means of intimidation?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea. I think that's horrible.
And talk about intimidation. Remember, I don't know, I know, Jenny, you were there at a couple of them with me too, and Gerard, where I was literally shoved a little bit, just shoved, bumped into on purpose when there was no one else around me, by her son and her judge husband.
That was the same. They were following Eric. That was at the League of Women Voters. That there was a commotion in the back.
Yes.
The husband and the son of Susan Berland were bumping into people. They were really out of control in that election, but that was a really close election. Had they not gotten that paper candidate on the conservative line by the name of Michael Helfer, she would have lost that election to Jennifer Thompson. We took you through this in the first episode, episode 1, as to why Jennifer Thompson would have beat Susan Berlin. Remember when we did the whole game of math?
Mm-hmm.
He was a paper candidate.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead, switch over to Lori real quick. Take a little quick break. Switch over. She can't be here. I don't want to give away where she is because she didn't give me permission to, but she had a previous engagement. So we are going to do our best to switch the screen over. You know, I'm always bad at this. Are we there? Are we there?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see.
Yep,
Lori.
All right, so this is Lori's endorsements for tonight.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry to miss the endorsement show. I hope that everybody gets to see this. I'm really only on the fence about the highway position. I really haven't come to any conclusion, but I am going to, I know this is a shocker, endorse Dom Spada for the 18th. I'm going to go for Carini for DA. I guess I should really give a reason a little bit. Well, Dom, definitely, I feel we've gone over this on the show. He really represents my family's values. I think that he connects with what's really wrong in the community, not just some of the things that he's been fighting for, but some things that have gone wrong. I don't really feel like Doc Spencer really has voted the way that a representative that has my values would vote. As far as Lauren Zacharias, I did have a chance to meet him at a fundraiser, and I really like him as a candidate. I think he'll make a great difference. I love that he's been endorsed by law enforcement. That's enormous for me. I am endorsing Perini for DA, and for the other council spot, I'm going to go with Ed Smith. I think, again, somebody that from Huntington Village, I think really represents my values, my family's values. So thanks a lot, everybody. I hope everyone votes and bring some friends to do some extra voting. It's all going to be about the turnout. Thanks so much. Have a great show.
Bye, Lori.
Hi, Lori. I hope you're having fun. Shout out. I think she left off,
highway.
but I have to say, who knows if she's like many others who are just like, I'm just not even voting on that line. That's one of the problems you're going to see. I almost want to predict that we're probably going to see the lowest voter turnout we've ever seen in an election this year.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
It's a lot of lack of motivation going on.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to touch on the highway?
Oh, well, yeah, let's skip. We'll save the most contentious for last with the supervisor. Is that okay? We'll skip around. Let's go over to the superintendent of highways. So on the Democrat line, we have Kevin O'Reilly. On the Republican line, we have John Clark. On the conservative line, we have John Clark. On the green line, we have Kevin O'Reilly. On the working families, Kevin O'Reilly. On the independents line, John Clark. On the women's equality, Kevin O'Reilly. On the reform line, Kevin O'Reilly. It just really burns my biscuits. It really does. The whole women's equality, if you can't find a woman, come on, don't tell me how no, just stop, please.
Burns your biscuits.
That line just bothers me.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll go first. I never met Kevin O'Reilly. I haven't heard anything about him other than a couple of Susan Berland operatives on the Facebook. So I don't take anything that they say to heart. But I did meet that one night at the Elwood taxpayer thing. I got to hear John Clark. I got stung by a bee before. I'm not feeling very good. Gotta tell you.
Oh my goodness. Sorry.
Anyway, sorry, I just got distracted.
Don't pull Wendy Williams and pass out on us.
I was getting ready to say, wait the heck. Hold on now.
I'm getting really hot. I'm really getting a little woozy.
You got stung by a bee in your house?
I got stung by a yellow jacket in my home. I went to take the garbage out about an hour, well, whatever it was, like an hour before we came on. I had to go through, the tree and a big bush out there. I put the garbage out because it comes tomorrow. I came in the house. I felt something like, crawling in my shirt. And I went like that. I was like, whoa, and I hit it. Oh. And then I looked, and it felt like I stabbed myself with a pen, a big pin. And then I looked down. It was a yellow jacket. And I flung him out of my shirt, and he's on the floor. I took a picture of it. I showed Jenny. A yellow jacket.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get through the show, and I'm sure we can send a firefighter over to help you.
But John Clark, I got to hear him. I actually got to ask him some questions. And for no other reason, I was just impressed by every single thing he said. He just answered my question. And I don't know anything about the other guy. And I never met him.
Lisa, I'm getting an inbox that if you need a response, they're willing to come for you. Just to let you know.
Oh, hell.
Okay, so back to Superintendent of Highways. Let's focus, ladies. Gotta get flushed here.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Wave your hand if you don't feel well, Lisa, because we don't need you going crazy on the show.
If she disappears off the screen, anybody who's watching, inbox me. I'll get you her address. Okay, O'Reilly or Clark. Those are our only two choices.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Clark. I really didn't want to endorse any Republican on this particular campaign for this particular election, but Clark does have a lot to say. He sounds sensible. I don't, I've attended 3 meetings, 3 meet the candidates, and all O'Reilly did was talk about how he had trucks, and he tried to smash Clark because he had a building with a building that had a bar, and it was just ridiculous. Clark stayed on point. He didn't even, he corrected him when he was very outlandish, but for the most part, he named the things that he could do, what he could bring in. And for that purpose, I would vote for Clark.
Yeah.
Well, I will be voting for Clark.
Yeah.
Do you know which line you're going to vote for him on?
I'm not sure. Because the Republican Party really tried to stick it to me this particular election.
On the independence line, if you wanted to go for the independence line.
I'm thinking about doing it. I'm not sure, but whichever way, he will have my vote, and he'll probably, my house. Would he have 6 or 7 adult votes that come, so he can count on that at least, So I'll be voting for Clark, and so will everyone else in here.
Okay. Did you finish, Lisa? Are you okay? You all right?
Oh, I'm okay.
Okay.
Right.
Kevin O'Reilly is an experienced man in the field. He knows how to operate machinery. But the superintendent of highways who is elected is not somebody who goes out on the road and shovels snow himself. He has to be capable of running a very complex department of people. And I got that feeling from John Clark that he has that experience from what I have heard from him. So although I can appreciate that Kevin O'Reilly has so many trucks, so many colors, so many brands, so awesome, and he knows how to operate them, that I'm thinking he might be better suited to sign up on the snow removal list since he has so much actual physical experience. Because when it comes to running a department, you don't necessarily need to know how to operate a backhoe. You need to know how to manage a department full of people who operate backhoes. So I think that I will definitely be voting for John Clark, and I'm going to choose the independence line for that one. All right. We're down to the final 3, which is the councilman, which is 2 spots, and women, and the supervisor's race. So we want to start with the council people, even though I want you to know that the ballot says councilmen. So I'm going to call this council people.
I like that.
So we all know that there's 4 on the ballot who basically have just gotten as many lines as they could to tally up votes. So it's not even minced words with trying to say who's on what line at this point. Mark Cuthbertson and Emily Rogan have been put forth by the Democrats, and James Leonick and Ed Smith have been put forth by the Republicans.
Well, since I'll definitely go first this go around. I'm not voting for Leonick or Smith. Leonick, to me, hasn't demonstrated anything at all that would warrant a vote for me. Smith has participated in a smear campaign and didn't check his own dirty laundry before he did that. That was unfortunate. He also stated that he went to town hall to make a fuss, and they finally gave him his little corn. Well, that really doesn't jive with my family, because we just go to the supermarket or we go to White Post Farms when we want to buy corn. We don't make a big deal out of that. So he wouldn't get my vote. Mark is just somebody that I don't particularly want to vote in either. So Emily, I like her responses. I do like how she handles herself. I believe she can bring a different face and a different sense of, I don't want to say friendship, but I think she'll be able to bind the council people together, or at least help with it. She has a lot of information. She came from the school board. So, these are things that I like about her. I like how she wants to engage with the community. That's really big for me when it comes to politicians. I need to see how engaged you are with the community. So as far as town council people goes, I will only be submitting a vote for Emily Rogan. That's it. All right, Miss Lisa, are you okay?
Yep, I'm okay.
Okay, let us know, because
No, I'm good. I just got really hot, and
one of our viewers was watching and saying if you needed some help, they were going to come over and give you help.
The last time I got stung by a bee, I had a fever. I got chills. I'm not there yet. I'm not there. But I'm not like allergic to them, so it's not like
I'd rather get stung by a bee than vote right now.
Yes.
Where we are.
As far as the council people, this just makes me
ill.
Very, very upset, because this is where, now I'm not a gambler in any way, shape, or form, but I feel like I'm going to gamble for this particular position and for supervisor, because I don't really care for any of them really, but for council, I just feel like, well, Mark is definitely out. Oh my God, so far out there, it's not even funny. And I just feel like a vote for Emily, who I've never met, never seen, never heard, never got to ask a question to. I just feel like she's just a vote for Mark and Patron, and that whole reign of what this town has become. And Leonick and Smith, I mean, Leonick thinks my tap water question was ridiculous because his tap water tastes good because he has a filter. Whatever. And Smith, the only time I ever met him was at the Elwood thing, and I did like his answers. I did like what he said, but that was only that one night. But I don't know. I think I'm going to have to go with a new direction and vote for them and take a total gamble. And if they end up not, impressing me in the next election, I can always vote them out.
Flip them again. Well, I could appreciate that.
I can always vote no. But I don't have anything to say for any of them.
It's so bad, right? Like for me, this is really process of elimination, like right off the bat. So I'm going to give you 2 takes on this. The first is who I think is going to win. because I'm not necessarily voting for people because I think they're going to win. I'm voting for people and for my own reasoning, which is why we're here to explain that. I think the machine is so strong that Mark Cuthbertson is going to win. And I think from all the negative ads that I've seen being thrown at Ed Smith, and we were talking earlier about wives. I've seen his wife out there now on the blogs saying how this isn't true, and it's just been the dirtiest last couple of weeks in regards to politics. I think that internal polling is telling them something that we're just not seeing, for them to come at a 4 people, that one guy, so hard, if that makes any sense. So I think Ed Smith is polling a lot better and is a threat than we may see. That being said, I think Mark and I think Ed are probably going to pull the numbers up and be the 2 that make it. As far as who I'm voting for, I met Mr. Leonick, and I have to tell you, I'd never met a Republican so completely unaware of what was going on in his own party. And to me, it was a breath of fresh air that he had this deer in taillights look to realizing what was going on. And to me, that means you're not part of the local deep state that sometimes we talk about. You're not part of the connected small cabal of people like Mark Cuthbertson and his best friend Stu Besson, who is always on all sorts of party lines, or he's like, the political bingo card. I'm going to vote for him because I believe he's one of the process of elimination, the least politically astute, corrupted, regular guys out of what I have to choose from. And I'm voting for Emily Rogan. And I'm voting for her on the Democrat line. I'm voting for her on the Democrat line, Emily Rogan, and I'm voting for Leonick on the Reform line. Emily and I walked a parallel journey from my beginning of getting involved in politics with Jack Abrams being closed. And I believe that she understands what high density development is doing to the town of Huntington and its water, its school districts. And I believe that her first interest will be to the students, because I know her. She's been my school board member for a long time. So Emily Rogan is getting my vote 100%. 100%. That's one I don't feel guilty about casting. Leonick is one I'm casting with a message on the Reform line. Since I don't want to necessarily throw my vote away, because I've been telling people who I'm voting for as supervisor, and they keep insisting that I'm throwing my vote away. And me remaining within my integrity is never me throwing my vote away just because somebody thinks that that particular line isn't going to get as many votes as another line. So I guess that leads us to supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
Dana, you want to go first, or do you want me to go?
You could lead this one.
I'm telling you. I'm ending this race the same way I started it. I'm writing in Eugene Cook. And that's my final message to the Republican Party.
Okay. You want to go next, Lisa, or?
Oh, no, go ahead.
She did. She just said new direction. She's voting Republican across the board with supervisor and.
No.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. I thought you were like on a triple and what? Oh,
no, a new direction as far as the council person.
Okay.
But I'm still tiptoeing to the ballot for supervisor, because I don't really know. I'll see where my pen leads me for that on supervisor, because I just don't know yet. I really just don't. So.
Okay.
So
my vote is definitely, I will be endorsing, I have been endorsing Tracy Edwards. I think as far as qualifications, she definitely has what it takes. She was, a VP at Verizon, so obviously she's capable of holding a staff. She's capable of handling a budget. Not to mention, I do appreciate her her effort to make sure that everyone in the community is represented when she does any of her advertisements. You can pull any one of them and you'll find people of a different gender. You'll find people of different ages. You'll find people of different ethnic backgrounds. And then you actually will see her in and around the community, not just at election time, all the time. Um, that's predominantly why I would be voting for her. And I do think that she is the best candidate. She will stand up and she has no problem with saying no if she doesn't agree with something. The reason why, because everyone has asked me, why they use the word turn on Chad, because I was a big fan of Chad. I was always a supporter of Chad since he was in the school district, but it's not so much as I turned against Chad. That's not what the case may be. If you don't represent what my community and what my family needs, why would I vote for you in a supervisory position that is going to directly impact my family and, my community? You don't have any women, there's no diversity at all. And then at the last minute you put on Facebook two black guys and you're at a football game and that's supposed to, signify diversity. And then I just saw something on Instagram and he's sitting with one young black lady, and I guess that is diversity for him. Unfortunately, and if you recall, go back to our first episode, I said one thing I've always admired about both Tracy and Chad was that neither of them ever went into a smear campaign. Neither one of them have ever done that. This campaign was totally opposite. Mm-hmm. And whether I felt bad for Chad because I don't believe he would have done that on his own, but I think it's part of his party's politics. But I can't, remove him because ultimately you had to sign off on it. And, for us who are soccer moms, as they call us, when we go to the bus stop in the morning, that's what we talk about. It's unfortunate because he took away from his good guy image and put out all this foolishness. And he really couldn't talk about the issues when he was asked.
If you can't control your campaign and you're allowing your party to control your message, then you're not a leader.
And then how, I didn't want to say that, but you are, because my thought process is if you allow this to happen, what will you allow to happen once you get in that seat? And then you also have to take into consideration some of the laws he has passed. He is not in favor of things that, he's voted against a lot of things that most of us, especially women, you can't help but raise your eyebrows as to what was your position and what was your purpose for voting like that. So it is unfortunate that he has taken this toll. And because of that, left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth.
What you just reminded me of something. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this, and I don't even care. But Andrew Rea, do you guys remember the New York Safe Act vote?
Yes.
Okay. I went off about this vote. It was done in the middle of the night, blah, 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 blah. And I got very upset over some of our local assemblymen who had voted the way that they voted. Mm-hmm. And Andrew Rea actually said to me, I told Chad to vote the way he did. And Chad, if you're upset with this, take it up with Andy, okay? I told Chad to vote the way he did because he's new and they'll go against him if he doesn't vote that way. So there's a lot of game playing that goes on in the background. So they don't vote because it's in our best interest to vote yes or no. They vote because they are playing their own little personal game of chess.
With the machine, like you say, with the machine.
And they're up against the machine. So you have a major party that controls the minor party simply by peer pressure of getting reelected or other things. And they use more senior elected people like Andrew Rea with the less seniority when Chad was new to tell them to vote a certain way. My dog, look at my dog. This is ridiculous. She looks like a Sphinx. Crazy. Oh, so, wow. That's a lot to digest for all of us.
Yeah, it was.
I think we wanted to, we were hoping that we had more time. An hour goes so quick on the Huntington View. We're going to start closing out our show. Lisa had this great idea last week to promote local businesses. We're not getting any money, product, blah, 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 or anything else. We're just bringing you places, people, things that we see or we are with. We love small businesses. They're the backbone of our economy. And we want to be able to give back to them. And hopefully they'll give back to our community and good, which they usually do. They're very generous for fundraisers, etc. So tonight, my hair was done at Cartel.
I love it.
Maya usually
Beautiful.
does my hair. Thank you. She did a good job. Maya usually does my hair. This is the staff at Cartel. Tina's awesome. Nicole. Maya, the owners, Jeffrey Fewer. Mary does my daughter's hair. But they're right down in Hale site. They're at 144 New York Avenue, right across from the marina.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, Cartel. And I got my, check out my nails. They got an American flag.
They're so
Where
cute.
did you get those done at?
Oh, okay. So where else would Jenny Lee go get her nails done but Jay Lee Nails and Spa. Jay Lee Nails and Spa used to be the old Cook's Inn on Jericho Turnpike over by Outback. They're located at 767 New York Avenue, and they really put out a great product there.
Oh, what's their name? The last name is
Jay Lee.
Yeah, they have like the little personal cabanas that you go in when you get a pedicure.
So
yeah, it's really I like
they're
it.
so
Yeah.
clean. They use the buckets that roll instead of the tubs. Like the tubs, I don't know, you just put clean and then how often do you clean it? With the rolly ones, you just put the bag in with the clean water. You're always getting a clean foot bath in there. They're just such a clean, they're so nice. They're good over there. And then we had lunch over in Green Lawn. Highly recommend Tres Amigos, the Mexican Grill, 99 Broadway in Green Lawn. They're right across from Value Drugs. When you first enter the Green Lawn area, they have a really good, tasty dish. So, Miss Dana, you had a business you wanted to support while I let this dog out.
Okay. I definitely utilize Roy's Deli on Jericho Turnpike. They're really good with delivery. They're really good with sandwiches, and they often have interesting hot lunch as well. They have breakfast until 1 o'clock. The owner is Chris, and he's really friendly. He's down to earth. He'll pretty much make you whatever you want, and he's very hilarious. So that's Roy's Deli. I didn't know I'd have to get cards for everyone the next time.
Yeah.
Because
My
I didn't
husband
know
goes
we was
right from
doing
my
this.
house.
Huh?
My husband goes there every morning.
Yes,
he
they're
really?
really good there.
Mhm.
I love them there. I've been using Roy's Deli. I've utilized Roy's Deli since Roy originally owned it, but now Chris owns it, and he, like I said, he's very friendly. He's very good. I like him. The next one that I would like to definitely promote is it would be iBeauty. It's the nail spa that I go to. Susan Berlin also goes to that one as well.
Oh.
They're very friendly. They take their time. They're very creative. They're clean. It's not a lot of cross talking in a different language. It's very relaxed atmosphere. Helen is the one who does my nails. She's extremely creative. And I enjoy everything from their fill-ins to their massages, to their eyebrow waxing. They're really good. They're inside the Monaco's strip mall thing right off of Jericho Turnpike, and they're really good. So iBeauty is my place to go. So my two businesses today would be Roy's Deli on Jericho Turnpike and iBeauty on Jericho Turnpike as well.
Well, quickly, I'm just going to give a shout out to Marco from the pizzeria over at the Marco's, which used to be the old Burger Boy, Conti's.
Conti's Burger Haven.
Yeah, Conti's Burger Haven. The pizza's awesome. The staff is awesome. I have a lot of good things to say about it. They're just great. And I love the location. They really cleaned up the area. Really, really, really nice.
I was in there last week. They were so nice to my daughter.
Yeah, they're really, really sweet. Every one of them. And I guess I'll just give I'll give a little repeat out because my son went to his tournament this weekend in Georgia, and he's not happy with the results, but I'm very proud of him. He finished 14th out of 500.
Wow, oh, that's not bad.
And he was extremely upset about that. But I thought that was incredible. But I'll just give another shout out really quick to, where is it? Oh, got T-shirts, the one on Larkfield Road. Everybody was complimenting them on the shirts.
We have to get the media shirts, give them out as prizes.
Yeah, the shirts came out amazing. They were getting compliments. So that's it.
Good.
Well, speaking of tournaments, I just want to close with a very proud mommy moment, and then I'll give us an update on our next show. The Huntington High School Blue Devils Marching Band this weekend took second place in New York State.
Woohoo!
We lost only to the home team of Syracuse. And I'm so proud of our team because it was only last year that they moved us up from Large School 3 to Large School 2, which is a tougher division. We took third place, and now we took second place this year. So what a great organization for the kids. I say it's a cult. It truly is. I'm totally in. I'm Blue Deviled out. In fact, I got my nails done at J. Lee in Blue Devils with the American flag because of the theme of Americana, and they've lasted this long through the long weekend. So.
Congratulations.
I'm sorry?
Congratulations. Well,
Thank
not to you.
Oh,
to your daughter, but yeah.
The whole school district, all these, you know what, I got to say, every single kid who went to Syracuse and performed should be given a certain amount of acknowledgement for the amount of time and effort. They work from the middle of summer, and then they have 7 competitions, and then they take it up to Syracuse. So the amount of man hours that they put in for a 7-minute performance that they only get one shot at is just phenomenal. But so thank you.
You know, Jenny, I got to say really quickly, I'm a little disappointed.
What? Why?
In you.
What did I do?
You gave a shout out to a couple of local businesses. Who's the best babysitter in the whole world?
And Lisa was my pet sitter while I was away. And even my daughter said that my dog loves Lisa more than she loves me. But Lisa can babysit anything, chickens, lizards, ferrets, dogs, all those wonderful things. So anyways, the election is on Tuesday, November 7th. Guys, it's going to be the lowest turnout. I know it. We really have to encourage our friends and family to get out. As far as the Huntington View goes, Be the Media Huntington will be broadcasting live from 9:45 starting on November 7th, and we'll be bringing you the returns that evening. If Dana falls asleep and needs to leave early, and I will try to keep it, and if Lori's still at a party, we'll try to keep it together. So if the girls have to come and go, that's cool too. But we're going to stay here and give you the returns until they're as far as into it to where we feel that we could comfortably call the race and make sure that you don't go to bed not knowing who your new elected officials are. So don't forget to join us Tuesday live, 9:45. You can pop in, you could pop out, you could check in, you could check out, you can do whatever you like. But we're going to be here for the town of Huntington to bring you those results.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will be here. I'm always here, Jenny. I might fall asleep. Don't judge me.
Always. Well, I'm trying to be respectful of our sleep time, our drink time, our everything time, our everything. Like, this is killing me, especially on a Tuesday election night. I'm going to need some wine. So I'll probably bring some wine on Tuesday, which should be a lot of fun. You guys should all tune in and watch me get tuned up.
Okay.
It's always a lot of fun. So any final words from my ladies?
I just would like to wish all the candidates that are running good luck. I hope you guys don't embarrass yourselves anymore with any more smear campaigns. Let's just keep it as clean as possible. But I want to wish everybody good luck. And I will be back on that Tuesday to count those votes with Jenny and Lisa and Lori. And that's it for me. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Good night, everyone. I hope you enjoyed what it means for you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.